This story begins in 2023. During an oceanographic expedition in the Atacama Trench, a team of marine biologists was collecting specimens from one of the deepest and least understood parts of the Pacific Ocean. Their goal was not specifically to find Dulcibella Camanchaca. They were there to study life in the deep sea, install a part of Chile's integrated deep ocean observing system, and better understand how organisms survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. But during that mission, they recovered something extraordinary. Hello guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'm Rizwan Patel, let's begin. Now, before we talk about what they found, we need to understand where they found it. The ocean is divided into different depth zones. At the top is the sunlight zone, where light supports most visible marine life. Below that is the twilight zone, where light fades quickly. Then comes the midnight zone, where sunlight disappears completely. Below that is the abyss, and deeper still is the hadal zone, the part of the ocean that begins at around 6,000 meters and includes the deepest trenches on Earth. This is the zone where creatures have to survive in complete darkness, freezing temperatures, and unimaginable pressure. Famous creatures from the deep ocean include anglerfish, giant amphipods, Dumbo octopuses, and snailfish, but the hadal zone is still one of the least explored habitats on the planet. Even though anglerfish live in the dark zones of the deep ocean, they are not completely hidden from us. Over the years, fishermen have accidentally caught them, and in rare cases, dead anglerfish have even washed up on beaches. Every time this happens, it feels almost unreal, because this is an animal built for a world far below the surface, where sunlight cannot reach. But why do they appear near the surface? The truth is, scientists still don't have one clear answer. Some may be sick or injured, some may be carried upward by unusual currents or changes in ocean conditions, others may already be dead and simply drift toward the shore. In rare cases, deep sea animals can also move higher in the water column because of changes in food, temperature, or pressure. So when people see an anglerfish near the surface, it is not just a strange sighting, it is a rare glimpse of a creature from a world we barely understand. The Atacama Trench off the coast of Chile reaches depths of nearly 8,000 meters. That is not as deep as the Mariana Trench, whose deepest known point, Challenger Deep, is around 10,935 meters, making it the deepest place in Earth's oceans, but nearly 8,000 meters is still an extreme depth, deep enough to place the Atacama Trench firmly inside the hadal zone, where very few animals have ever been studied properly. To explore places like this, scientists use specialized tools called benthic landers. Think of them like robotic deep-sea platforms. They are lowered from a ship all the way down to the seafloor, carrying bait, cameras, traps, and scientific instruments. Once they reach the bottom, they sit quietly in the darkness, attracting animals and recording what appears. Later, they are brought back to the surface with whatever data or specimens they have collected. In simple terms, when humans cannot go there easily, the lander goes in their place. That is how the researchers were able to collect specimens from depth close to 7,902 meters. Now imagine that descent for a moment, a machine falling through kilometers of black water, no sunlight, near freezing temperatures, pressure so intense that most surface life would be crushed instantly. This is not just deep water, this is one of the most hostile environments on Earth. And from that darkness, the team recovered something they did not expect: a strange, pale, ghost-like crustacean that looked almost alien. Later, scientists confirmed that this was not just some known creature living in an unusual place, it was a new species, and even more than that, the only known member of an entirely new genus. In 2024, marine biologists Johanna Weston and Carolina Gonzalez formally described it and gave it a name: Dulcibella Camanchaca. The identification was confirmed through detailed study of its body structure and DNA analysis. At first glance, Dulcibella Camanchaca looks almost unreal. Its body is milky white, segmented, delicate, and ghostly in appearance. It has thin antennae, multiple fine limbs, and specialized front appendages built for grabbing prey. That pale color is not just creepy aesthetics. In the total darkness of the Hadal zone, pigmentation becomes far less important. So many deep sea animals evolve bodies that look pale, translucent, or almost colorless. But the real surprise was not how it looked, it was how it lived. Most deep sea amphipods, which are small shrimp-like crustaceans, are known as scavengers. They survive by feeding on dead material and falling organic debris, often called marine snow, that drifts down from above. So when I say this new creature appears to hunt, that may sound normal at first, because of course predators exist everywhere on Earth. But at a depth of nearly 8,000 meters, that is exactly what makes this discovery so unusual. This is a zone where scientists would normally expect animals to survive by waiting for scraps, not by actively chasing prey, and yet Dulcibella Camanchaca appears to do exactly that. Researchers found that this animal has specialized raptorial appendages designed to capture and consume smaller crustaceans. In other words, instead of simply feeding on whatever happens to fall to the seafloor, this creature seems to play the role of an active predator. That is what makes it so extraordinary. At a depth where food is scarce and survival is already difficult, this species appears to have evolved not just to endure, but to hunt. And that raises a much bigger question. If a predator like this exists nearly 8,000 meters down, then what exactly is it hunting? A predator cannot exist on its own. It needs prey, and prey needs its own place in the food web. So this one small discovery suggests that the ecosystem of the Atacama Trench may be far more complex than many people imagined. This is not just a barren underwater graveyard, it is a functioning world with relationships, roles, and survival strategies that science is only beginning to understand. The Atacama Trench itself is already seen by researchers as an important region of high biodiversity and endemism. That means many of the animals found there may exist nowhere else on Earth. The discovery of Dulcibella Camanchaca strengthens that idea. It shows that even today in the 21st century, the deepest parts of our own planet still hold species that are entirely new to science. Even its name carries meaning. The species name Camanchaca comes from a word associated with darkness or dense fog in Andean languages, an appropriate name for a predator living in a world without light. The genus name Dulcibella follows a literary naming tradition linked to Don Quixote. So this tiny deep sea hunter carries both science and poetry in its identity. What makes discoveries like this so fascinating is that they force us to rethink how much we really know about our own world. We often talk about alien life as if it must exist somewhere far away, on distant planets or in another galaxy. But sometimes the most alien-looking creatures are already here, hidden beneath our own oceans, in places so extreme that they may as well be another world altogether. And that is exactly why Dulcibella Camanchaca matters. It is not just another obscure species added to a scientific paper, it is a reminder that the deep sea remains one of Earth's last great frontiers, a place where evolution keeps producing forms of life that look impossible, survive the unimaginable, and challenge what we think life is capable of. So the next time someone says we have already explored our planet, remember this creature, a ghostly predator, newly discovered, living nearly 8,000 meters below the Pacific Ocean, hidden for who knows how long in one of the darkest places on Earth. Its name is Dulcibella Camanchaca, and it is proof that our world still has secrets left to reveal. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.